Explore the beauty of Nashville with Jody's Journeys, May 29th through June 2nd. Join Jody Griner, your travel guide, and explore the treasures of Nashville. Contact Jody Griner at 641-660-6417. This tour only holds 50 seats. Demand is high. Secure your spot now. Call Jody's Journeys at 641-660-6417. Again, Jody's Journeys is going to Nashville, May 29th through June 2nd.
And here's your host, Steve Shedler.
Hey, you. Hey, you. Well, thank you. Good morning. Welcome to the morning wake up here on Steve Shetler Media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You can also check us out at steveshetlermedia.com. Hey, our morning wake up being brought to us by our friends at Home Plate Sports Cards in Oskaloosa. Stop in and see Eddie at Home Plate Sports Cards at 1516 A Avenue East, Oskaloosa. Call 641-676-1516. Or stop in Wednesday through Friday, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m., Saturday noon to 6, Sunday noon to 4. It's Home Plate Sports Cards. There's no place like Home Plate Sports Cards in Oskaloosa. And they are bringing us our morning wake-up here on Steve Shetler Media. Hey, our forecast brought to us by the Garden Gate, where they are having their Goodbye to Winter open house coming up this Friday and Saturday. Friday 9 to 5, Saturday 9 to 2. And that's at 105 South Jefferson in Sigourney, 641-622-3191. Stop by and say hi to Cindy. And their hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Usually on Saturdays, 9 to noon. But again, this Saturday, 9 to 2 for the Goodbye to Winter open house. Stop in. Tell Cindy you saw her advertising here on Steve Shetler Media. Our forecast for today, a 30% chance of some rain, mainly after 5 p.m. Otherwise cloudy and a high of 56. East winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Some rain tonight, mainly after 7 p.m. 100% chance of some rain tonight, between a half to 3/4 of an inch possible, a low of 43. And breezy tonight. Tomorrow, rain, 90% chance of rain. Not going to be a whole lot of rain, as it says there, between 1/10 and 1/4 of an inch possible. So kind of a just got gloomy, doomy day tomorrow. Rain, breezy, 48 for the high. Into tomorrow night, 30% chance of some lingering rain, cloudy, a low of 29. Blustery north winds. Saturday will be sunny, breezy, and 46. Right now, our current conditions, according to the National Weather Service, winds are east at about 10 miles per hour, humidity at 89%, and the old barometer is barometing at 29.98, while we have 38 degrees currently in southeast Iowa. Your weather brought to us by the Garden Gate in Sigourney. Hey, coming up later on today at noon, we'll put up our question of the day. It's brought to us by Amy's Salon House and Spa, 202 North Main, Sigourney. Call or text for an appointment, 641-622-3772. Hair and spa services, extensions, products, tanning. You can see all their different products there lined up across your screen. Amy's Salon House and Spa. Your question for today that we will ponder is, how often do you eat at the dinner table? What do you think? Do you eat there at all? Does your dinner table just sit there and collect stuff? Or do you actually sit down and eat at the table? How about eating with the family? Is that a rarity? I know everybody's busy. It's hard to get people around the table. But how often do you eat at the dinner table? That's our question of the day, brought to us by Amy's Salon House and Spa. Again, that'll go up on Facebook around noon today. Speaking of stuff you like to engage with on Facebook, this or that, that's a new thing going on this week, and will continue on until further notice. It's brought to us by Stacy Flynn at the Legacy Insurance Group and Welcome Realty in Sigourney. This or that for today, which went up at 6 a.m. this morning. Would you choose a white bathroom or a black bathroom? This or that. It's just something to kind of pick your brain, get your opinion on. So this or that, that's a daily thing. Make sure you get in on that here on Steve Shetler Media Facebook, brought to us by Stacy Flynn. So some fun stuff there. Coming up later on this week, tomorrow, in fact, we'll have the Chickadees live at Barnwired in Sigourney for our Iowa Music Showcase. The gals will be coming to Barnwired tomorrow, 11:30 to noon, live and in person. Stop in and eat some lunch, drink some coffee, enjoy the interview and live music from the Chickadees, or just watch it here on Steve Shetler Media on my different outlets. So the Chickadees, born and raised right here in Iowa. They're down around the Ottumwa, Bloomfield, Eldon area, if I remember correctly. So stop in or watch the Iowa Music Showcase tomorrow here on Steve Shetler Media. Saturday morning, we'll have the sports section. We'll be featuring Shay Moore and Carly Goodwin with our host, Jenny Hobbs. Host Hobbs on Saturday morning from the sports section. Tune in then. Let's do some community calendar events as we've been telling you about this week. We've got the Sigourney Fire Rescue EMS Soup and Sandwich Luncheon coming up on Sunday from 10 to 1 at the Sigourney Fire Department. Make sure you take advantage of that. They always put out some great food, different soups, grilled cheese sandwiches at the Soup and Salad Luncheon with the Sigourney Fire and Rescue EMS. Also, Chicken Time. The Delta Fire Department's Spring Barbecue coming up this Saturday from 1 to 3. It's a free will donation. Proceeds going towards tools and equipment for the department. So celebrate spring with some barbecue chickens, sides, desserts, and drinks. It's a free will donation. And you can stop by in Delta. That's going on with their spring barbecue coming up on Saturday afternoon. Should we throw in one more thing? Yeah, we should. Coming up this evening here in Sigourney, the Sigourney Elementary Art Show. And that is later on today from 5 to 6:30 at the Sigourney Elementary Commons area. Enjoy the artwork, creativity, and cupcakes. Cupcakes. Starting at 5, going to 6:30. This evening, the Sigourney Elementary Art Show with Mrs. Shaw and the kids. So that should be fun coming up later on today. Hey, all right, we're doing the morning wake up. It's brought to us by Home Plate Sports Cards, and we're live from the Oski Dental Studios here on Steve Shetler Media. Let's catch up with some good mornings. Rebecca tuning in, Dodie, Nancy, Dan, Tracy, Dixie, Kurt and Kathy, Renee, Sherry, Jennifer, glad to have everybody along. And more of you in the comments this morning here on Steve Shetler Media. Wasn't it fun to have Neil Crott in yesterday? It had been a long time, several weeks since we had Neil in on a Wednesday morning. So it was great to see him yesterday. Neil, if you're watching this morning, shout out to you. Glad to have you back yesterday. And Neil usually hangs out on Friday at the Iowa Music Showcase at Barnwired. So stop by, say hi, give Neil a hug. Not too hard. Got his stomach issues going on there. But anyway, let's do some birthdays. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. All right. Birthdays for today. Let's see, the old person, the old folk On the birthday list today is the first female Indy 500 racer, Janet Guthrie. Janet is turning 86, so happy birthday to Janet. Other birthdays today, Football Hall of Famer Lynn Swann, played for the Steelers back in the day, 72 years old. We've got actor Bryan Cranston, a.k.a. Walter White from Breaking Bad. He was also in Malcolm in the Middle. He's been in a lot of things, but Breaking Bad, Walter White. Love Breaking Bad. I don't know if I've said that enough here on Steve Shetler Media. Breaking Bad, my favorite TV show of all time. Bryan Cranston, 68 years old. Singer Taylor Dayne, she had the hit I'll Always Love You, turning 62 years old. Comedian actress Wanda Sykes is 60. Actress Rachel Weisz from The Mummy, amongst other movies, is 54. Actress Jenna Fisher, Pam from The Office. Jenna Fisher, 50 years old today. The big 5-0 for Pam. Actress Laura Prepon, she's Donna from That 70s Show, is 44. Those are your celebrity birthdays. Good morning, Bubby. Thanks for joining us this morning. Let's see here. On this date in history, on this March 7th, it was on this date in 1876, Alexander Graham Bell received a patent for the telephone. It was on this day in 1897, Dr. John Kellogg, yes, of Kellogg's cereal fame, served the first cornflakes. The twist on this, the weird thing is, he served this is for real, the world's first cornflakes were fed to Dr. Kellogg's patients at a mental hospital in Battle Creek, Michigan. Did they like it or not? I don't know. Cornflakes. 1933, on this date, the board game Monopoly was introduced. So, yeah, some fun stuff on this date. Hey, let's do today is on the National Day calendar. Today is National Flapjack Day. What are the difference between flapjacks and pancakes? Any? None? I don't know. National Flapjack Day. So make sure to flap your jack. It's National Hospitalist Day. It's National Crown Roast of Pork Day. That's a lot of words and doesn't really make sense to me. It's National Cereal Day. You know what? I'm glad today's National Cereal Day. I had a cereal this morning that I hadn't had in a very long time. Cookie Crisp. I ate Cookie Crisp as a kid a lot. And I hadn't had Cookie Crisp in a long, long time. It was all right. Not my favorite thing in the world, but I had a bowl of Cookie Crisp this morning. So celebrate National Cereal Day. And it's also National Be Heard Day. What? It's National Be Heard Day. What? Good morning, Chris Ann. Yeah, Breaking Bad fan, my cousin Chris Ann. Also, just a reminder, coming up this weekend, time change. We're springing ahead. We are springing. It'll be 8:14 at this time next week. Things you need to know. Things you need to know. New Mexico. A New Mexico state jury found Rust armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reed guilty on Wednesday of involuntary manslaughter in the fatal on-set shooting of a cinematographer. I can say it. Months before actor Alec Baldwin is set to be tried on similar charges. So again, that person found guilty. We'll see what happens with Alec. Things you need to know. This is the final week of free COVID tests. Are they still doing that? People still take COVID tests? Okay. It's the final week of free COVID tests from the federal government. The program ends on Friday, so if you want a free COVID test, get those while you can. Let's see here. New Jersey Democratic Senator Bob Menendez has been indicted on a dozen new criminal charges related to a years-long bribery scheme involving the governments of Egypt and Qatar. Also, tonight is President Biden's State of the Union speech. That ought to be good. Other stuff you need to know, Season 2 of The House of Dragon going to be hitting Max in June. Here's something you need to know. Your day would not be complete without knowing this. A dominatrix named Carrie Royale is threatening to post never-before-seen photos of Prince Harry in the nude at a Las Vegas bash on her OnlyFans site after she says he failed to give details about that adventure between the two of them in his book. So, the Federal Reserve saying that interest rate cuts are likely on the way this year, but that we have to get a better handle on inflation first. So we have to get a better handle on inflation before we get interest rate cuts. Okay, good luck on that. Other stuff you need to know. We told you about this yesterday. The restaurant Booth, where Tony Soprano ended things on The Sopranos, went to a mystery buyer for $82,000 recently at an auction. Also, just another small note into politics. Super Tuesday results. Joe Biden lost the American Samoa Democratic primary to a little-known candidate, Jason Palmer, becoming the first incumbent president to lose a primary since Jimmy Carter back in 1980. Lost the American Samoa primary. Obviously, that's not going to mean anything. But it still means a little something. L-I-L. Let's see here. Young Sheldon. A spinoff of the Big Bang Theory. Now there's going to be a Young Sheldon spinoff that will focus on Georgie, Sheldon's older brother, and his fiancée Mandy as they raise a family in Texas. No title for that one yet. Other stuff, Dakota Johnson, the actress, says that she's not surprised that Madam Web was quote-unquote ripped to shreds, and it has been a bomb at the box office. Madam Web not doing well, as no movie is doing all that great at the box office. The FDA, they have cleared the first over-the-counter monitor that continuously checks glucose levels. This started here, a week or two ago. Baggage fees going up at all of the airlines as Delta has now bumped up their baggage fees from $30 to $35 for the first check bag, $40 to $45 for the second. And finally, in stuff you need to know, Trinity Rodman. Yes, she is Dennis Rodman's 19-year-old daughter, Trinity, has become the highest paid player in the National Women's Soccer League in the history of that league after signing a 4-year, $1.1 million contract. $1.1 million for any sports team doesn't seem like all that much, really. I mean, it's obviously $1.1 million is a lot of money, but anyway, that's the highest amount ever for a player in that league. Goes to Dennis Rodman's daughter. Some food news. March 19th. Put that date down. Not only the first day of spring, but Dairy Queen, the old DQ, is going to be celebrating with their annual free cone day. You can stop by and get a free small vanilla soft serve cone on March 19th from Dairy Queen. Other food news, Burger King going to be celebrating the first week of daylight saving time next week with a week of free food giveaways. Starting this Sunday, you'll get a free croissant sandwich from Burger King. Here's something kind of strange on the way next year, 2025, from Oscar Mayer. They are going to have what they call not hot dogs. Not hot dogs and not sausages. They're going to be plant-based versions of hot dogs and brats. Not hot dogs, not sausages. Hot dogs are kind of all the just whatever's left over, they just kind of throw in and make hot dogs out of it. So, a plant-based version of a hot dog actually shouldn't be that bad. Yeah. And then finally, in some food news, the official hamburger of NCAA March Madness basketball tournament, Wendy's, says it's going to offer customers $1 Dave's single burgers or $2 Dave's double burgers when ordered on their Wendy's app now through April 10th. So take advantage of that from Wendy's on their app. Hey, it is time for today's impossible question. Today's impossible question, doing this every day could cause you to lose an entire 6 days from your life every year. What is it? What are you doing that could cause you to lose an entire 6 days, almost a week, from your life every year? The answer is hitting your snooze button. You're sleeping your life away, people. Wake up! Let's go to the weird.
That is weird.
In some weird news, a British Columbia teacher has been suspended for allowing his students to hit each other with pool noodles during a gym class activity last year. You know what a pool noodle is? It's those long kind of cylinder things. Anyway, he was letting the kids hit each other with the pool noodles. I wouldn't think that'd be a big deal. Russell Stephen Bodner is his name, exposed his students to physical harm and created an unsafe environment, quote unquote. The BC Commissioner for Teacher Regulations said in a ruling released this week. Bodner was teaching a grade 9, so these weren't like little kids. These were bigger kids. Grade 9 physical and health education class. Says he allowed some students to play a game of hockey using pool noodles instead of hockey sticks. And he encouraged them to hit each other with the noodles. So, suspended for allowing students to hit each other with pool noodles. What'd you do to get suspended, sir? Oh, I had my kids hitting each other with pool noodles. Hey, good morning to you, Patty and Jan. Glad to see you guys joining in this morning. And some other weird news. Police in Port Moody, British Columbia, are investigating a bizarre incident involving a man who drove a car into the water on Monday night. A video posted online shows a man driving into the water at a boat launch, again, this is in Canada, and exiting the vehicle before it becomes submerged. The driver was detained at the scene and later released. It was found he was a live streamer, one of those internet people. I tell you, don't trust those people. They'll do anything for some views. But a guy driving into a body of water with his car during a live stream. Speaking of streaming, members of a YouTube music team based in Texas found out that they had been laid off while urging the city's council to pass a resolution that would ask the company to negotiate with their union. The employees have been in a dispute over the last year with YouTube and owner Google regarding new rules restricting remote working and a refusal to bargain with union representatives. So they found out that YouTube and Google ain't playing the union game. They're fired. Out of here. We talked about COVID shots earlier. One German man has redefined a man on a mission. A 62-year-old from Germany deliberately got 217 COVID-19 vaccine shots in the span of 29 months, according to a study going against national vaccine recommendations. Now, that's an average of one shot every 4 days. In the process, he's basically become a walking experiment for what happens to the immune system when it's vaccinated against the same pathogen repeatedly. So, we'll see how his immune system does with that. Other, I don't know if it's so weird as lucky news. A Maryland man said that he learned a lesson about keeping his truck tidy when a recent clean out of his truck resulted in his finding a $30,000 Mega Millions ticket among the trash. So clean out your truck a little bit more often, pal. $30,000 richer because he found that ticket. And finally, today in the weird, scientists from the New England Aquarium in Boston, were flying off the coast of Nantucket on Friday when they saw a leviathan that has been extinct for over 200 years, a gray whale. You know how they realized it was what it was? It was because it was talking to them. It was saying, I am a gray whale. Okay, maybe not. As the whale continued to dive and resurface, as if it were feeding, the aerial survey plane continued to circle the area for 45 minutes, giving the scientists time to capture photos and talk to the whale. Hello, whale. Are you a gray whale? So it hadn't been seen. They thought it was extinct for 200 years, and now it's alive. That gives me hope that Bigfoot's still out there. If you haven't seen a certain whale in 200 years, there is hope that there is Bigfoot, and that you just haven't seen it in 200 years. I'm kind of serious on that. I like Bigfoot. Let's go to the files of law and disorder. In some disorder, we go from whales to red pandas and other animals. 6 Indian nationals have been arrested at Bangkok's International Airport for attempting to smuggle a red panda and dozens of other animals out of the country, according to Thai custom officials. What is with people smuggling animals? Did this guy have pantyhose on with the red panda down there in his pantyhose? No, he did not. But he was attempting to smuggle a red panda and dozens of other animals, including snakes, parrots, and monitor lizards, among 87 animals seized at the airport. They were allegedly discovered in the suspects' checked luggage as they tried to fly to Mumbai. The suspects face a maximum of 10 years behind bars. So, yeah, that's multiple. Snakes with an S, parrots. How do you smuggle a parrot? Do you shh, parrot, don't talk. Don't talk in my suitcase. Idiots, I tell you. Shall we do some good news? Let's go ahead and do some good news.
Good news.
Good news.
Good news.
Where the good news is the bad news. Don't get the final say.
That's right. Good news today brought to us by Dr. Stacy Freeze at Lifetime Dental. Let's bring up her graphic. As we want to give Stacy Freeze some love, we'll post this as its own post on Steve Shetler Media Facebook later on. Accepting new patients, call 641-622-2669. Lifetime Dental Solutions, Dr. Stacy Freeze here in Sigourney, bringing us something to smile about today. As if you can't get in 10,000 steps per day, is that like the recommended amount? 10,000 steps per day? Even making an effort toward that goal is likely to be beneficial. New research shows that every step above 2,200 per day, up to about 10,000, reduces one's risk of heart disease and early death, even if you spend 20 minutes walking and the rest of the day sitting. So you got to get out there and just get a little bit active. I know I need to be way more active than I am, so I'll take this one to heart, literally. Researchers at the University of Sydney in Australia, analyzed data from 72,000 individuals who wore an accelerometer. That sounds fancy. For a week to monitor exercise levels. In following up with the group after 7 years, let's see here, at which point participants had experienced about 1,600 deaths and 6,200 cardiovascular events, researchers found a person's risk of death and heart disease dropped as they exceeded 2,200 steps per day. So if you have one of those little step counters, make sure you get in 2,200 a day. That is your good news, something to smile about from Dr. Stacy Freeze at Lifetime Dental Solutions. And let's wrap this up with some
Duh.
In some duh today, power. I've got the power. Power to the town of Dunn, North Carolina was accidentally knocked out by the power company, a utility truck. At 8 a.m., a truck from South River EMC was leaving with the service boom still in the up position when it hit a power line at an intersection. The impact snapped a couple of power poles. Power was out in the areas of Dunn and surrounding areas in North Carolina. Let's see here. They had another power company show up to help out with containing the power outage and restoring power to customers affected. No injuries, thankfully. Obviously, someone's annual employment review going to get hurt on that one. Again, the power company in charge of the power loss in North Carolina. That's your duh.
Duh.
That is your duh here on KBOE. That is your morning wake up here on Steve Shetler Media, brought to us by Eddie at Home Plate Sports Cards in Oskaloosa, 641-676-1516, located at 1516 A Avenue East in Oskaloosa. One last look at our forecast for today. Chance of some rain later on today. Better chance for tonight and tomorrow. Otherwise, cloudy today and a high of 56. That's your morning wake up here on Steve Shetler Media. Morning wake up brought to us by Home Plate Sports Cards. And we've been broadcasting live from Oski Dental Studios here on Steve Shetler Media. Coming up later on today, we've got the In Remembrance Of video at 8. We've got the Sigourney Public Library video at 10 a.m. this morning. Got the Great Outdoors with Laura DeCook at 4. Successful Farming at 5:30. Heartland Humane Society Weekly Pet. We'll get the Morgan You Asked For podcast with sports talk and more. It's coming up this evening, so a busy day here on Steve Shetler Media. Otherwise, we'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. You guys have a great Thursday.